Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Turtle Bookworm. Super excited to do this September wrap-up video. I had a great month at September. There was only one book I didn't finish, which I was surprised at how disappointed I was with it. But maybe it's because I had it all amped up in my head. I don't know, but it got the Pooh Award. I should have brought my Pooh Award over here with me. Have to remember that for next time. But we'll get into that. So anyway, oh, it's right on top. How about that? So the Pooh Award, I am so sorry. I don't know what my problem was, but I could not get into Ash and Bramble. I wanted to love this creepy-ish retelling of Cinderella, but I just could not get into it. I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know if it was because I was still hung up on another book that I had just finished and loved. I just couldn't get into this. The cover's beautiful and it has potential for so much greatness. I just, sorry. I couldn't do it. Another book that I read in September, it was okay for me. I think maybe it was a little overhyped, and that was The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I will be reading the sequel. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 star. It seems like a repeat of so much style and tropes and everything else that I've read before. It was okay for me. Not that I didn't enjoy it. It was good. Just, it didn't stand out for me. It wasn't one of my favorites. And again, I think it might have been overhyped for me. I had these high expectations been going around in the book community and everybody's just raving about it, but it just wasn't my favorite. It was okay. It wasn't anything wrong with it. It just, meh. It was okay. Still pick it up. I'm curious to see what everybody else thought about it. You know, you can comment down below. We can have a big old discussion of why we liked it or didn't like it and how you all think that I'm wrong because I didn't love it. So, yeah, comment down below if you've already read Red Queen. Again, just a little overhyped for me. Not that I didn't like it. It just was meh. Also, I redid my shrine to Karen here. So these are all my hardbound. Some of them are autographed. I have my Italian editions here and my tarot cards. And when it gets closer to the release date of, oh my goodness, Feverborn, we'll do a whole go through of my Fever series. We'll do that when it's about 100 days out for Feverborn, and we'll talk about my obsessive compulsive love for all things Fever and Karen Marie Moning books. I absolutely adore them. She is my all-time favorite author. So, that being said, Katie, plug your ears. I'm going to be talking about a book that you want to read. I will bring it with me on Monday. Plug your ears. I'll let you know when you can come back. So, one of my favorite books that I read this month was The Accident Season. The Accident Season by, I'm going to screw this up, Maura Fowley Doyle. This was amazing. I loved this book. I was worried that, like so many other scary, thrillery, mystery books, it was going to be kind of predictable and lame. This book is so secretive. I mean, look at that. Can you see all that? Not a whole lot going on back there. So that in itself had me intrigued. This was awesome. If you haven't read it, pick it up, read it. Very jaw-dropping moments in this read. Some of it was a little bit predictable, but most days with books that I read, they happen to be predictable just because once you've read so many things, you just kind of pick up on foreshadowing and a little bit of clues. Writing was great. Every character was their own person, individual. No two people sounded the same. You always knew who was speaking, whether it was listed or not, just by the way they talked, the tone, the feel. The style of the writing was phenomenal. I look forward to more from her. I'm going to do some more investigation. I want to say this was her debut. I don't know for certain on that, so don't quote me. Pick this up. Katie, I will bring it to you on Monday. I know you're not listening right now, or at least you're not supposed to be, but I will leave this on your desk, and you are going to love it. So this is going in its own pile over here. So I remember to grab it. You can come back now, Katie. Katie, it's safe. Come on back. So another book I read for September, I read 2 uppercase books in September, and one of them was Rebel Mechanics by Shauna Swenson. This was another book that was just meh, it was okay. I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than I really liked the cover. I liked the concept of this. Just a little bit disappointed with what she did with it. Not to say it wasn't a good book. I enjoyed it. I read it rather quickly. It just didn't stand out as something magical for me. But it was still very good. I like historical fiction type books and stories, and I like magic and mystery, and this was okay. I don't say not to read it. I would recommend you read it just because it was fun and different. But again, not my favorite read of this month. The other uppercase book I read was The Vengeance Road. Vengeance Road, I've been on the fence about reading since I've seen it come out a little while back. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, I would pick it up and then put it down and pick it up. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to read it or not. I'm not a big Western fan, but oh my God, this book was incredible. This was probably one of my favorite books that I read. It ranks right up there with my love for the accident season. This was absolutely superb. You have to read this book. I don't care if you don't like Westerns and they're not your cup of tea. This was beautifully written. It is very realistic. You get lost in the story. You could be sitting there on your couch in your air-conditioned house and you will smell the dirt cloud up around you. You will hear the spurs, the clank of the wood plank sidewalks. You will be in the West. This was fabulous. Simply fabulous. Aaron Bowman, you rocked my world this September. This was probably one of my top favorite reads of September. This was superb. Lisa, thanks for sending this in uppercase. Once again, you got a winner. This was absolutely grand. So the last 3 books I'm going to talk about, I've been going back and forth, and I hadn't picked up the Mortal Instruments series. I had only read the first book, and that was when it came out before the movie, and the only reason I had read it was because I knew the movie was coming out. So what was that, 2012, 2013? So a couple of people at work, specifically the new guy, had been pushing me that I needed to read it. So I have the whole Mortal Instruments series now, and I would read a book, then read a Mortal Instruments, then read a book, then read a Mortal Instruments. So the books that I completed for September was The City of Ashes, which is book 2, City of Glass, which is book 3, and City of Angels, which is book 4. I am digging this series. It's pretty spectacular. I'm hoping to finish this series probably in November, because in October I'm going to be reading a lot of creepy, scare. What is this? I've been doing this a lot lately. Potatoes. That's what we say when we're having mashed cauliflower. My son will say, "Are we having mashed potatoes?" Anyway, so I'm not going to probably finish the Mortal Instruments series until November, because I'm going to be reading horror type themed books for the month of October, some of which include The Dead House. I'm really looking forward to this read in October. Normally I don't read things written in the format that they're written in. Here's an example. It's newspaper clippings, diary, journal logs, transcripts from court cases and things like that. But the premise of the book actually sounded fantastic, and I figured, I need to get outside of my box sometime, so I'm definitely going to be reading this in October, as well as a couple of other things. I am going to be doing Z for Zachariah with April. This is on our book to movie. The movie comes out October 20th, so we're going to be starting this. I'm going to finish up the book that I'm currently reading, which I don't know where it is right now. I thought I had it sitting here. It's called Fates. I'm wrapping that up. Started it yesterday, and then I'll be diving into Z for Zachariah. I have a couple books in the mail on their way to me that also are going to be in my horror-themed reading month of October. A couple of you shouted out some suggestions. One of them was the book, I think it's called Stiffs, and that was from the lovely Nicole and her mom. Nicole, thank you for the recommendation. I will be including that in my October TBR as long as it makes it here in the mail on time. So that was my September. I had a great September with the exception of one book that made it to the DNF pile, but I I do try to find the positive in everything, and one of the positives that I found was I rearranged everything into this beautifulness so that I have a fresh shelf, and it's there it is again, the did not finish shelf, and it's going to have its own little cubby section because I didn't want to part with them because they're mine, and I don't like not having my books because they're like little parts of me, little bits of my soul is in each and every one of them. So they have their own shelf now. It's the DNF shelf. I might even get a label maker and be like, this is the DNF shelf. Anywho, so that's what I've been doing for September. Super, super, super excited that the weather's finally going to start cooling down. Looking forward to sweatshirt season. I want to get outside with my cocoa, my hot tea, a hot toddy, whatever, because I want to be outside. It's too hot outside. Even today, a few days into fall, it's like 102 or something like that. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I hope you had a fabulous September. I hope you have an extraordinary October. We will definitely see each other a few times over the next month or so. And until that until the time comes where we meet again, I hope that everything that you are reading you are enjoying and you don't fall into a reading slump because those suck. And until then, keep on reading and cheers.